Hello, everyone. Welcome to Switchcraft, the fingerboard podcast. My name is Jana, and this time I'm being joined by James.
Hi, everyone. My name is James, as you heard from Yana. Thanks for the wonderful introduction. I go by he, him, and my name is SlimBenzene on Instagram.
Yeah, and James and I have known of each other for quite a while, and we've been in like various hangouts through Discord or yes, things like that. Yeah, and I wanted to talk to him for a multitude of reasons. Uh, let's start first with, I think, the easier topics. The first one is, I think you're the first like pure writer that I'm interviewing. I think other than that, before I only interviewed people who had like companies or YouTube channels and things like that.
That's wonderful. It's super interesting that I'm a first on the Switchcraft podcast, and I'm honored.
Yeah. So let's start with how long have you been fingerboarding, and what got you into fingerboarding?
Sure. I've been fingerboarding very on and off since about, I think, 2009. I was in sixth or seventh grade in New York City where I discovered tech decks, and I saw kids flipping these little skateboards up into the air, hitting the ceiling, and I was very interested. For whatever reason, I was
How
very
old
big
were
into.
you?
I believe I was 11 or 12 years old, maybe 13.
Because I'm never quite sure like what grades you are in the States, or
Right.
like what age you are in a certain grade. I barely know that in German.
Wow. I'm in graduate school now, so for me it's also a hassle. I it's been a while.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
been a
I've
while.
been out of school and out of university for a while. Like I started studying 10 years ago, and I finished like 6 years ago, or something like that. So
Wow. Right,
it's been a
right,
while.
right. I feel like these I feel it. I feel it. So I was about 11 or 12, maybe 13, and uh I saw these videos. I don't know whose videos I ran into first, but I saw unboxings and I saw things about Flatface and Mike and Vicious 274 and all these kind of people who were growing up in the scene. Uh, and I saw things about companies. I think the first time I saw a welcome edit to a company for a rider was I think Yellowwood, like Danilo
Oh yeah,
2020 or
yeah,
something.
yeah.
And it opened up a whole new world for me. And I think my first wooden board was a Z Shred. I think this was a company out in California.
Yeah, I
Uh,
think I've heard of them, but I never seen a board, and I don't think they're around anymore, right?
no, no, they're not around. Funny enough, years down the line, after I had bought Z Shreds and had moved on to writing like a flat face deck, I believe this was 2013. So it had been a few years since I picked up fingerboarding. Uh, I saw the email on the Christmas list that he was closing the company down, and he had sent a bunch of boards to my house, and it was very interesting. I wasn't expecting it.
Ah, that's cool. At
It was
least.
very nice. I think he had gone down the customer list or something, and just sent a bunch of blem decks for people to enjoy, and it was wonderful.
That that's a cool way, a cool thing to do when you close out a company.
It was very nice of whoever runs that company. I hope they're doing
Mm.
well.
You don't know if that person, like who that was, or if that person is still in in the community, right?
No, no, so I had no idea what networking was at this time, and so I never
Yeah,
bothered to consider, that this is a board that someone made, someone, a human being in
yeah,
another place made this, and right, it's been through many hands, and now it's in my possession, and
yeah.
I
I
think
think
my
when
relationship with fingerboarding now is very different.
yeah, that's probably true. Like when I first got my first wooden fingerboard, I knew exactly who made it, or at least who was responsible for making it. Because like back then, the German scene was so small, everybody knew that Timo Lieben was the guy behind Berlinwood, or
I
that
see.
Flaki was the guy behind Shortwood, or Valerie Müller and Fabian Schreiter were behind Favor, and like you just knew most of the people who were, because back then there weren't that many board companies, and so you knew most of them and who they were. Um,
Wow.
uh, Speaking of board companies, you seem to have quite an obsession with Flint.
I'm a big Flint fan. Yeah, that's true. I
Yeah, I
Sure, sure. Go ahead.
no, you go ahead.
I first discovered Flint from a friend, David, out in Staten Island, and this was when I was first getting back into fingerboarding. I had gone back to what I thought was familiar. I went back to a flat face G15, and that was plenty of fun. And I saw this really mellow board, and I thought, how can anybody pop such a mellow board? I put my fingers on it
Yeah,
and
I
I
know
tried a
that.
few tricks, and the mellow board just felt rewarding. It felt like I had control of the board, and for whatever reason, I've been very attached to Flint. The shape just matches my style, and I'm a big fan. Luz does some good work.
Yeah, he does. He's he's been one of my dream guests to get, and I think it was an amazing chat I had with him.
Right,
Yeah, and I love his sports, like pretty much everyone.
right. They're incredible. His attention to detail, and I think the unboxing experience, it reminds me of when I was 13 years old in 2009 and opening a white bubble mailer and seeing boxes and seeing uh, all these components and the little things, the stickers and the additions. I think the experience
Mm.
also plays into it. And
Yeah, his packaging is something that's just like no one else is doing that in fingerboarding. Like a lot of people are doing the shrink wrap thing from
right,
like real board or big boards. Some are doing like the let's call it cardboard box thing, like River. Uh, a lot of people just do like a envelope thing, like a folded piece of paper with slits in it. And he's pretty much the only one that does like a unique packaging with like lots of thought that went into it.
right, right. And I honestly, I have to say, I hats off to him because he played into the experience very well. And I think that for us, this is a fun hobby. It's a hobby about memories. It's a hobby about friends. It's a hobby about all these kind of things that make us have warm feelings inside when we think about fingerboarding and our closest friends and hanging out.
As someone who's like primarily a writer, have you ever had the feeling like you need to do something in fingerboarding, like you need to start a company? Because that's something that always was in my mind. Like, oh, everybody is doing like some cool shit, and I'm not
Right,
doing
right.
anything. Like, it's part of the reason why I started the podcast because I was like, hey, nobody's doing a podcast, and I'm a huge podcast listener.
It's true. It's true. I I think that there is this sort of pressure, especially from uh, I guess younger fingerboarders coming up in the scene to
Yeah.
look into buying like the beginner molds and buying beginner veneer because in their minds they want to understand the process, which is wonderful.
Mhm.
But I think that in the beginning I did get caught up in trying to start something that proprietary, something novel that maybe no one else was doing, like I don't know, drilling holes into tech deck wheels and at this point I was silly. I don't know what I was doing. I didn't have access to proper tools, but I tried to drill or tried to strip the inside of a lock nut, and then I thought I could use that as a bearing for a tech deck wheel. Uh, that didn't work out too well. I
Well,
would
at least you
Sure.
tried.
I tried, and I saw that it didn't work. So I'd do other things. I'd paint my friends' tech deck trucks because finding painted trucks at one point was pretty difficult when we didn't
Yeah.
know about buying online and stuff. And yeah, I guess there is this sort of pressure to kind of start a company or to get sponsored or to be involved in an event. And it's great and it's wonderful for the people who can juggle those kind of things. For me personally, I'm so busy with other stuff that at this
Mm.
point I'm more focused on the fingerboarding and when I picked fingerboarding back up in college, uh, it was mostly about de-stressing and going back to a hobby
Mm.
that I remembered. It was more about the fun part and the experience. So I wasn't caught up in doing anything else and starting a company and anything of the like.
Yeah, because like those things I think are getting underestimated like all the time. Because I hear so many times from people just starting out being like, "Oh, I want to make my own decks because it's much cheaper that way," and I'm like, "Well, I don't think it is."
If only you
Because
knew
you
the
need,
amount of, sure, go ahead.
yeah,
Sorry.
yeah, because yeah, I think we're getting at the same point. You need so many things and tools, and it's so much work and such a like iteration until you get a good product. Like I know what I like, but there's already what I like. So, and I know how it's done. I could like I could possibly buy the tools I need and do a decent job, but like for me, there's no reason why. Like I much
Right,
rather have someone else have the hassle and yeah, just support them.
right. In that case, you're supporting an individual person, you're supporting an artist, you're supporting the craft, and yeah, it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, and you're also someone who has more than one setup. Am I remembering that correctly?
Yeah, yeah.
Or are
I'm
you one setup?
I'm tinkering. So of course I had a Flint set up. I had this Flint with a Japan graphic. I think it's the
Yeah,
probably my
that's a
favorite
beautiful
graphic.
one. Yeah, that's a absolutely stunning one.
In the logo series, that is the killer. And yeah, it's just wonderful to have that as a daily setup. So I have that set up with black BRTs and some OG Joy Colts. I'm a big fan of the black, white, and like black and white swirl or gray wheels, and I've been riding all black tuning on my BRTs. So that's been fun. That's kind of my signature now.
Yeah, nice. Do you have a local scene like yeah? Do you have others who you
Sure.
fingerboard with regularly?
This is going to be an interesting talk. There is a local scene in New York, and for a long time, I didn't think there were fingerboarders in New York City, despite how big the city is. And come to find out through Instagram and social media, a ton of us kind of got together and had regular meetups. And uh, because of COVID, that of course stopped. But the year
Mm.
prior, we were on a roll. We went to Woo's, we went to Store Sesh. Katha met up with us, and we had a great time with Katha.
Ah, yeah, I
Um,
remember her being in New York for a while.
she's amazing. She's
And
an
and
incredible
I
person.
and I think a friend of mine also was in New York for a while, Mauro.
Yes, yes, yes. Mauro was out there, and I met Mauro, and we had a good time. Mauro's a nice guy, also. He's
Yeah,
awesome
he
people.
is. Yeah, he made the Aussie website when the old one got hacked.
Interesting. I didn't
Yeah,
know that. He's a humble
yeah,
guy. He would never tell you.
yeah, yeah.
He never told me. Wow, cool. Now, so it's interesting because I'm no longer in New York City, actually. I'm in Indiana for graduate school. I'm doing my PhD now, and
How far away is that roughly? Because I know of Indiana, but I couldn't point it to you
it's
on a
pretty
map.
darn far. I'm in the same time zone as New York, but driving I think is 13 hours if I'm not mistaken.
That's a bit, yes.
It's quite a drive. And flying here is a bit of a hassle because you have to make connecting flights. There aren't
Mm.
too many direct flights from New York City to Indiana. Because I've been so busy with school, I haven't really gotten a chance to explore the scene out here, and of course COVID. But uh, I think I'm not too far from Todd Cuzzert over at No Comply, one of the
Ah.
OGs. So
Mm.
I hope that if there's events that happen, I can, show my face there, show my support for the scene, and continue to be around people, even if I'm not in New York City.
Yeah, cool. And I think this is a good point to pivot to a different topic. So there was recently an infamous live stream, I think we can call it,
Sure.
made by someone who's, I think, also from the New York area. I think from Jersey, if I
Yeah, that's right.
remember that
Next door
correct.
neighbors, yes.
Yeah, and yeah, there was, and he's a white dude, and there was the N word thrown out there,
Right.
and like in the aftermath, there were a lot of people saying a bunch of things,
Yes.
and there were a lot of people pointing out that what he said wasn't okay, and there were a
Right.
bunch of people defending him. He was defending himself and things like that. And I don't want to talk about that like specific
Sure.
instant for too long, because I think there's a lot of things that were said about it, and yeah, I don't want to point fingers too much. But I want to take this as an opportunity to talk about race and different ethnicities and diversity in fingerboarding, because when you look on Instagram, it's primarily, let's say, 13 to 16-year-old white kids, a
Yep.
bunch of like 30-year-old white guys, and yeah, then it's like very, very small amount of people from other demographics, let's call it that.
Right.
How has it been for you as a black man in the fingerboard community? Do you feel like there aren't a lot other black people in the
Sure.
community, or is it just something that I see? Like here in Germany, we have a different mix of races
Right.
than in the States. So I
Right.
think here it's like even worse. So yeah, is that something that's just like coming from me as a European, or is it
Oh
something you
no,
also experienced?
definitely not. So again, it's important. I like that you mentioned the fact that the demographics are different because when we analyze a society, we need to look at it from its own point of view. We can't analyze it from our own biased perspective. It, yeah, it's a thing. It's definitely a thing. It's gotten better. There are more black fingerboarders, more fingerboarders of color, more fingerboarders who uh, don't fit this white male mold,
Mm.
and it's wonderful. It's good to see that it's changing, but still, we're pretty scarce. Being at Voo's for the first time ever was an experience, and there were very few of us. I know that on Flatface there are a few team riders who are people of color, and that's great. And they've been on the team for a while, like Ronnie and other folks. But yeah, there's not so many of us. It's not a thing that's it's not just a thing in Germany. It's definitely a thing in the States.
Because like I mentioned to you before we started recording, I think I know more lesbians who fingerboard than I know people of color who fingerboard, and I that just feels a bit weird. Like
It's incredible. It really is
like
incredible. And I wish
like
that I
looking
could,
at how. Yeah, go on. Sorry.
sorry. I wish that I could pinpoint to exactly why is it that there are so few of us? Why? But I can't give you any concrete reasons. Um, it's not that people aren't discovering what fingerboarding is. Tech decks are everywhere. I mean, kids in the kind of neighborhoods that I grew up in knew about tech decks, but very few of us kind of kept with the hobby. And I'm not sure what it is. I wish I could answer.
Yeah, and also in skateboarding, that isn't really like that. Like in skateboarding, there's a lot more people of color
I
doing
see.
it, and since both hobbies are have, I think, especially from the fingerboard point of view, have a lot of overlap. Like a lot of people
Yes.
who are interested in fingerboarding are also interested in skateboarding. Maybe
Right.
not always the other way around. But yeah, I always find it strange that in skateboarding it's gotten much better since, like, when I was a kid looking at skateboard magazines, back then it was mostly white guys, Alyssa Steamer, and Kareem Campbell. Like
I see.
that was basically the demographic back then, and we've come a long way from like, let's say, the late 90s. So
Right.
yeah, and it just feels weird to me that fingerboarding never got like more inclusive and more.
It's
Yeah.
very interesting. So I'm not a skater. I tried, and my Walmart board got run over, so that was a sign for me to keep fingerboarding and to stop skating. However, I think it's that history of skating, that inclusivity. Those skaters were just trying to have fun, have a great time, learn tricks,
Mhm.
and challenge each other, and enjoy this sport and this hobby. And I think they were inclusive because they were all oppressed. The cops were
Mhm.
have always been uh, pretty tough on skaters. Um,
And it was also looked down, like, from a society point of view.
right.
Like, uh, kids, like Tony Hawk talks about that all the time. That he got bullied like for most of his school career for being a skater fag, as he got called all the time. And
It's
I
incredible.
think I think because of that, skateboarding tried to be so inclusive because it was like a bunch of misfits. And I always felt the same way about fingerboarding. Like, all of us are like, most people who fingerboard are interesting in one way or the other. Like, we we as fingerboard, like, I have the firm belief that when you are interested in hobbies that are a bit unique and like things that not everybody likes, that says something about you and it builds character. And therefore, I think a lot of fingerboarders are much more interesting to talk to than, let's say, the skater dude who goes to the skate park 10 hours a day, and that's about it. Not saying that that's a bad thing. Like I
Right.
said, I'm a huge
Right.
fan of skating, but I think it's just, it says like a lot more about the personality.
Yeah. And the fact that you can fingerboard anywhere contributes to this. I mean, even if I'm
Hmm.
super busy at work and I need to prepare a lesson for my students or something, I take my 5-minute break and I fingerboard on my mat at night and have a great time, and it's all about balance.
Yeah, yeah. Today was actually one of the first days where I wanted to fingerboard, but couldn't because I was working with super glue, and all my fingertips were like covered in super glue, and I couldn't feel the board.
Oh my goodness, I feel your pain. I feel your pain.
Yeah, I'm still having the remnants on my
I
fingertips.
see. And now it's
But
peeling, huh?
yeah, but yeah. Do you ever feel like you were being looked at funny in, like, let's say, meetups of fingerboarders, or were there ever?
Sure, sure. I have
Yeah.
some experiences. Um, yeah, definitely. So digitally, yeah, I think I used to post these silly videos. I'm a 13-year-old kid. I'm sure I said things that I shouldn't have said as a 13-year-old kid on YouTube, and I'm sure
Well,
I was
we
annoying.
all have.
Right.
I
And I
was annoying at
remember,
13.
yeah, I mean, who wasn't, right? But
Yeah.
explicitly, like, so I don't want to say any names, but explicitly, I remember people who were sponsored riders who would comment on my things, and I'd get excited thinking, oh, maybe I did something cool for once, and I'd check, and it'd be a derogatory comment, or it'd be something negative, or something, not something that I'd want to read.
Hmm.
And there were a few incidents, and I didn't take them too seriously at the time, but now being older, I kind of understand where these feelings are coming from, where these negative thoughts from people are coming from. And I think at meetups, it's interesting because uh, people don't know sometimes if they want to approach me, or it's I don't know how to describe it. People who don't know me, they don't recognize the face, so it's sometimes they're kind of weary, and then they see that oh, he's a cool kid. Oh, cool, sweet, and then we talk about setups and we have a
Hmm.
great time. But it's interesting. People are more careful sometimes how they approach you. Uh, This one was funny. This one I wasn't too upset about. A kid so I had curly hair at this time, and a kid asked, "Are you Lil Tecca?" It's this artist. Uh, I thought that was pretty funny, but then again, it's like being the only black kid at the store sesh, you would think that I would look like this other artist. But
Yeah.
uh but yeah, I think so. And I think, it's not exclusive to fingerboarding, but
Mm.
I stand out a little bit, let's say, in fingerboarding more than I do in other places and other spaces that I navigate.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't want to draw similarities too much, but yeah, I also have the feeling that I stand out at a fingerboard event like much more than other people, and I also do get derogatory terms thrown at me
Okay.
quite quite often. Like not so much at like events, but in like when I'm just at the Aussie store, there's always a little kid talking some shit. But
I
that's
see. I see. Yeah,
yeah,
kids.
yeah.
And you know what? It's sad that it's coming from a kid because I know that, or most probably it's not coming directly from him. It's rooted in
Yeah.
something, some frustration, something he learned at
Mm.
home, something he overheard.
Yeah, or just not being exposed to people
Sure,
that look different from you, and I think
sure.
that's where a lot of that comes from, and maybe even in fingerboarding, since in fingerboarding, that like we discussed, there's so few people of color, and yeah, yeah, I don't know, like it's
It's true.
yeah.
It's true. I can't think off the top of my head a person of color who had a big following on YouTube. Uh, I might be mistaken. There might be a few here and there, but I, I
I
can't.
certainly can't think of one.
There was Hero Asian Man was a nice channel I used to follow. I think he posted some stuff recently, maybe in the past few years, but other than that, I can't really think of anybody.
And what how did you feel during the whole fallout of the live stream that happened a couple days ago? Were there like how did, because what I was like, I wholeheartedly disagreed with the guy, because
Sure.
some things you just don't say, and you
Right.
know where the line is. But
Right.
I also feel if as a white person, when it comes to race debates, there's always the line of being of like taking the voice away from the people who are directly affected by it. So
Right.
I always try to show my support, but like don't step into the light too much. And I really enjoyed. Uh, there was one guy who's fairly new at fingerboarding. Like I can't remember his Instagram name, and he was also a man of color, and
Sure.
he made a uh, really good like answer piece, and yeah, I I think I
Oh, I yes, 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 yes. I shared it on my page. I can't remember his name, but
yeah, I'm blanking as well. Maybe I can find it in my
we're both
mentions,
we're
but
both on the same page though, I think. I remember. Yeah, he
yeah.
had some great points and I agree with him wholeheartedly. I think he's a brother out of California.
Oh, yeah, I think I found him. Yeah, Fungi the fingerboarder.
That's him. That's him. Shout out to you, man. I hope you're doing well out there in Cali. And yeah, we appreciate your words and I think he said it best. He summed it up.
Yeah, yeah, he did.
I was pretty disappointed to hear the comments because, this is somebody who I considered maybe not close friends because we weren't too close, but this is someone we hung out with. This is someone who was a part of that East Coast crew that we were trying to work on, that was a part of
Mhm.
this whole New Jersey, New York City thing. Uh, so yes, I was disappointed to hear it. I on one hand, I can't say I'm surprised. There were certain signs that I saw that I felt
Okay, because like I heard uh, like I only heard people in the comments defending him, being like, "Oh no, you don't know him, and
right.
he's such a cool guy," and I never heard that side.
He's an all right guy. I'll give him that. But
Mm,
there were things that I saw that now looking back on it, I understand where this is coming from. Um,
mm.
but I hope he's doing all right, and I hope he can move past this. But again, inappropriate, and yeah, that wasn't cool. I've been distancing
Yeah,
myself
and
a little bit since then, but
yeah, yeah, and like where I always like I'm a firm believer of you can make mistakes, but it's mostly about how you handle them. And
right.
there's some things that aren't mistakes. Like something like that isn't really a mistake,
Thank
even
you.
because like but even like doing something wrong and doing something where you later realize that like like we discussed earlier, we both were 13 and were annoying, and like it's okay to look back and be like, okay, that really wasn't cool what I did there.
Right. These are things we
But
learn from.
yeah, but it's like in his, especially in his first statements, I didn't really get that.
Right.
And it was all about the classic non-apology, being like, hey, if you heard something you didn't like, then I'm sorry.
Right.
And
It's distancing him from
yeah,
the issue and from the problem. Yeah, you're right. It's a totally different mistake. It's not like when we were 13 and we made a silly mistake and we learned our lesson. This is different. You're a grown adult with a salary, with a family to support, with friends of color, people
yeah,
of color who support you, people of color who look up to you, and for you to even think about that coming out of your mouth is beyond me. But again, I'm disappointed that it happened, but I hope he's doing well though.
yeah. Yeah, and like I hope that this could be a moment of growth in the fingerboard community, and this is like one of the reasons why I wanted to make this interview, because I think we in like lately the fingerboard community is so prevalent on Instagram particular, and Instagram is such a fast media that things are over in like 3 days. And I wanted to take this as a like moment in time, uh, similar to other things that happened this year with people of color repeatedly getting shot by the American police.
Right,
So, and same with people mentioning it there, and people trying to raise awareness and trying to mark it as a moment in time. I think on a much smaller scale, we can try to see this as a like point where fingerboarding is at and where the community is at, and see how many people defend that sort of behavior and how many people from all over the world agree with that. That is just not a behavior we want in our scene.
right, right. And I'm excited. On one hand, I'm glad that we had this kind of shocking event happen because you see the sides, you see the division between people, and you see who stands on what, and you see what kind of beliefs people have and what they think about the situation. So you know more or less who to avoid, who to talk to, who to discuss with more. So
Mm,
uh, I'm sad it happened, but I'm glad that we're discussing it, we're talking about it, we're recognizing that it happened.
yeah,
I
yeah.
think it's all important steps.
Every time there's something negative in the scene, I try to just look at where it's coming from and who the people are on each side, and then try to avoid those people on the side I don't agree with. And I think
Sure.
this is something that like, and I also don't want to like brand anyone who defended that guy like if you firmly believe that there was something like, I don't even know how you would defend it, but uh, like just yeah, I I'm not I'm not trying to hold too much against those people and try to get everyone an opportunity to learn from the situation and
Sure.
to go into themselves and think about much more important issues than fingerboarding. And yeah, just hope that the scene as a whole grows from this thing.
Right. It's important for us to remember these events and if possible forgive the individuals involved. Um, Forgiveness is a big thing. It's important.
Mm,
However, some things are inexcusable, and I'm not excusing him. I'm not cool with it. I don't think I can be friends with that guy anymore. But,
mm,
to each his own. I want to see him prosper, but not at my table,
yeah,
so to speak. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, maybe we switch to much lighter topics now again. I think we gave it a certain like an appropriate time, and I really hope that this is going to be something that maybe people go back and listen to it when the next controversial thing happens, because it will happen. It will happen eventually. Like
It's
it's the
going to.
internet. Yeah, but
Absolutely.
yeah, let's just hope that the scene as a whole will grow, uh, and yeah, let's if you ever do something wrong, really apologize and apologize to those affected, and
Right.
don't don't put excuses in your apology. I think that that's something you can take away regardless of the situation. If you fuck
Right.
up, own it and say, yeah, shouldn't have happened. Try to not make it happen again.
Right.
Yeah, but
Absolutely.
I will now switch to something that I do with all of my guests.
Sweet.
Um, I want to shoot a couple of quick questions at you.
Sure
And
thing.
yeah, you just answer them with the first thing that comes to your mind. And if you spend a bit more on one question, that's not too bad, but we try to get through them in a rapid way.
Sure thing.
So yeah, what's your favorite wheel?
Favorite wheel? Anything boxy? OG Joy Colt.
Oh yeah. Favorite deck and shape?
Ooh. Uh, Favorite deck? Flint. Favorite shape? Cozy shape from Wub.
I've never tried a whoop. Uh,
Cozy is the perfect word. Your fingers will fit on it perfectly, and yeah, I hope you try one soon.
yeah, maybe I'll get over the reasons why I didn't buy one yet. Um,
Sure, I get it. It's pretty controversial.
yeah. Favorite trick and flat?
Favorite trick on flat? Heel flip, 100%, or backside heel.
Oh yeah, you were good at those. I remember.
Love them.
Um, favorite trick on an obstacle?
Ooh, favorite trick on an obstacle. I would have to say nollie flip front Smith.
Yeah, that's cool. That's a cool trick. Awkward. Like I always find those tricks where you pop on the nose and put pressure on the tail in a grind. Those are really hard for me.
They're so cool though.
Yeah, they are really cool, but they are always so fiddly, like switching around.
It's true.
Um,
It's tough.
what's your favorite song right now?
Favorite song? Ooh, I'm gonna have to think about that one for a sec. Probably Chef G. Uh, how does it go? No, yeah, probably a Chef G
I
song.
don't I don't think I would have heard of it.
No, very few people have heard of him, but he's coming up. It's this Brooklyn rapper. I'm very I'm very big on the hip hop because I'm from the Bronx, New York. I'm from the home of hip hop.
Yeah, I think you pretty much have to when you grew up
Right.
there.
Yeah, it's a necessity.
Yeah. Um, Outdoor or indoor fingerboarding?
Outdoor or indoor? Indoors.
What do you want to do for a living?
Hopefully chemistry.
Ah, cool.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, I think there's one other chemist in the fingerboard scene, Gene Zenges from Berlin.
Oh, interesting. I didn't
Aussie
know.
OG.
There
Yeah,
are a few of us.
I gave him the a small tangent here. There's a 5 luck graphic where the team got like everyone got a graphic, and Bert made himself or got himself a scientist one made where he has
No way.
like a like a I don't know what that's called in English, but those glass
Sure,
things, a beaker, I think.
sure,
Yeah,
sure.
and Gene mentioned to me that he really liked that graphic since it's the only like chemistry fingerboard
Wow,
graphic ever. So I got him that for his birthday, and
that's
it was like
beautiful.
I think it was the last one Bert had, like the last
You
of the realware things.
you did really good, Yana, with that gift. You did really good.
Well, I just remembered that he said that he really wanted one, and was
Oh,
like,
that's
yeah, I think
awesome.
I can make that happen.
That's very
um,
nice of you.
yeah, but yeah, I don't think there are too many chemists, but also, yeah,
Yeah,
I don't know too many
Mitch.
jobs of fingerboarders.
I'm sorry?
I don't know too many jobs of fingerboarders now that I think of it.
Oh, interesting. And yeah, there's a let's see, little known fact. Have you heard of Dr. Fingerskate?
Yeah, I know that
Very
name.
cool guy, nice collector. I think he's a scientist. There's a friend of mine who's applying now to school to do some chemistry. She graduated with her chemistry degree. Her name's Michelle. I think her fingerboard Instagram is MLP underscore fam, PHAM.
I don't know
Very
that
nice.
one.
She's very cool.
And I thought I followed most female fingerboarders. Yeah, I will check that out later.
Sure,
Um,
sure.
what's your favorite obstacle?
Oh, my Loft Vista probably.
Oh yeah, Loft is a really nice brand. Isn't he also from the
He's
New
he's
York area?
he's from upstate New York. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
That's true.
yeah
He's
I'm
very
getting there with my fingerboard geographic.
I see you. You've got the United States covered. The East Coast, the West
Yeah.
Coast, Indiana.
What's your Instagram name?
My Instagram name is Slim, SLIM, Benzene, Benzene. That's gotten a lot of questions.
Yeah, is there a story behind that name?
Sure. Yeah. Uh, the slim part is just because I'm a slim guy. I'm a slimmer guy, and
Hmm.
the benzene portion is because I'm a chemist. The benzene ring it's a chemical.
Ah, okay. Yeah, in German, Benzin is petrol or gas.
Yes,
So,
that's right. That's right. It's a
mm,
flammable organic solvent.
uh, uh, do you prefer concrete or wood?
Ooh, concrete or wood? Concrete or wood? I'm gonna say granite.
Yeah, when your favorite obstacle is a loft, I think I should have included that one.
But
Uh,
I really love oak wheels on wood. Oak wheels on wood are as grippy as ever, and it's lovely. But I've had the chance to try some concrete, and some concrete is pretty fun. It depends. I really like the concrete that has a texture still, but is still very smooth. It's very hard to find this
mm,
specific kind of concrete.
yeah, each surface is completely different, and I get the wheel thing. Like I like some wheels on wood, some I don't like on wood, some I like on granite. Yeah,
It's so interesting.
like some urethane wheels on Black River Parks are way too grippy.
That's
Uh,
right. That's right.
I sometimes like plastic, so flat face wheels on Black River parks, but I can't ride plastic wheels on like a granite park or
Let's
a
see.
concrete park.
Right.
Yeah,
The slip factor, it's not only the components on your setup, the surface, the riding surface, 100%. I'm sure we all
yeah.
agree matters.
Funny that I said I want to get through the questions quickly, and I'm going on tangents on every second question.
Well,
Um,
it's been a great convo. We've talked
yeah,
about a wide range of topics.
yeah. Do you have hobbies outside of fingerboarding?
Yeah, I like to take pictures every now and then. I don't think I'm very good at them, but there's that. I like to lift weights. I was sick with COVID, and now I'm COVID free, thankfully. So I couldn't lift for quite a
Oh,
while, and I'm super sad. But I'm doing things.
good to hear that you got through it.
Yeah, thanks. I was pretty quiet, and people were worried, but I'm alive and well. So I have hobbies and things, and I think for the stuff that I do for my school and my work. So I teach kids in college too, as a part of my PhD contract. Um, it gets busy, and having the hobbies is super important because you get stressed. It's
Yeah,
stressful.
yeah, I can imagine. And maybe with the lifting weights, maybe in the future you won't be slim benzene.
Yeah, no, I'm actually not so slim anymore. It's crazy. I I look totally different now, and my fiance is gonna be super surprised when she sees me. But yeah, I gained
Nice.
quite a bit of weight. Yeah.
Do you have a favorite fingerboard video?
Favorite fingerboard video? I feel like I have one. If I had to pick one, my favorite fingerboard videos to watch were probably Toabex.
I don't think I know that.
Toabex, I think, was in the UK, and I think Katha liked watching him too. And watching him, it was a different perspective. His videos were clean, and it wasn't just fingerboarding. It was all kinds of other things. I got introduced to rollerblading, and I never thought I'd want to try rollerblading until I saw him try it. And it was all these other things. It was like a daily vlog, and he'd include an edit, and he'd show how he'd start his edit. And I think now he still fingerboards, mostly to help him with his piano playing, but his videos were incredible.
Ah, cool. I need to check that out. Um, uh, do you have a favorite stance? So, do you like switch, regular, nollie, or fakie the most?
Interesting. I think Nolly for now is my favorite. Switch is super fun. I'm
Mm.
just starting to get into the Nolly and the Switch, so that's been fun. Pinky's also very fun. I like it.
Yeah, I like nollie much more than I do like switch.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
I like how Switch is fun.
Um, if you could get one Black River park, which one would you get?
Oh, I know. I don't know which park it is, but it's the one with the bumps on one side.
Sorry, you were cutting out for a second.
Oh, so sorry. Can you hear me better?
Yeah, yeah, like kept cutting, getting quieter and louder. But yeah, I think no, it's good. Okay, again.
Okay, sure. So
So which one? The one with the wave?
yes, yes, it's this one with a wave on one side.
That's the
Very
G8.
well. G8. I think that park is super fun, and anytime I get a chance to go to Storsesh or Vooz, I love that little section.
I really love that park, but like if I would have that park, I would rip out the wobbles immediately.
Really,
That's my least favorite section about the park.
they're difficult.
Yeah,
I can't pop any tricks on it, but riding the
yeah,
wave is super cool. I just like how it feels.
yeah, yeah. Maybe I would like take it out and have it like somewhere on the side just as a wee. But yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So, do you prefer to have flat ground with one obstacle or a fingerboard park?
If I'm at home, it's going to be flat ground and one obstacle. If I'm somewhere else with plenty of space, then definitely a park.
Yeah, having a park is really nice. Heel flip or kick flip?
Heel flip 100%, no question.
Yeah, I'm kickflip all the way. Uh,
Okay, I love it. I love
uh,
it.
do you have a favorite fingerboarder?
Favorite fingerboarders right now are Ryan from Loft, and I think Maria's pretty good. Maria's sick.
Mm. Yeah, and Ryan, like his flat face part blew me away.
I think I need to see it. Is it covered in granite?
Yeah, yeah. It's a like all on his loft obstacles, and it was I think the second to last part on the flat face video Mike posted earlier this year, and it was by far the best one. Like edit, music, filming, spot, trick selection, like how clean it was.
He's incredible.
Yeah,
If
I
I
think I need to rewatch that part.
I would love to emulate his style, and something about it is it's just clean. The film is clean, the tricks are clean, and it's gorgeous. It's lovely to watch.
Yeah. Do you remember your first fingerboard event?
My first fingerboard event was uh, a store session or rendezvous. It was rendezvous actually, and it was the biggest rendezvous. After all these years of living so close to Massachusetts, right next door in New York City,
Yeah,
finally I had the chance last year to go to Booze, and it was a wonderful time.
yeah. I really want to go. Like, yeah. Someday I will make it happen.
I hope so. I hope so, and I hope I'm there too, so we can meet and chat
Yeah,
and shred.
absolutely. Homemade or bought ramps?
I'm sorry.
Do you like DIY ramps or bought ramps?
Oh. I think I'm open to DIY, but um, mostly buying. Mostly buying.
Mm,
I, I I generally don't have the space or time to make them. So
yeah. What's your favorite food right now?
favorite food right now, I'm gonna have to say grapes.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
I've been eating a ton of grapes, and I've always been a fan of grapes, but during this time, stressed out and wanting a snack, yeah, grapes, grapes.
I should have grapes at home. I think they are a great snack. And I try to snack less.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I have a
Uh,
big sweet tooth.
loose or tight or medium trucks?
Uh, Medium, anything medium to loose. I'm not a big fan of wobbles,
Mm.
but definitely a nice loose medium.
What was your last personal NBD? So the last trick you landed for the first time for yourself.
I didn't like how I filmed it, but it took me like hours and hours and hours over a period of 2 days. It was a nollie flip front uh, tail slide, I think. It's in one of my edits.
Mhm,
I'll share it tonight probably. But
mhm.
that was a tough trick for me.
Yeah, it's like a like weird rotation.
It's like
Uh,
going backwards almost. It was
yeah,
strange.
yeah. Um, what would be your most hated trick in a game of skate?
Tray flip,
Tray flip.
tray flip. Believe it or
I
not.
think I think that's the first time I heard that.
Yeah, I got back into fingerboarding and didn't bother practicing tray flips.
Okay. A
However,
lot of people don't practice heel flips, but tray flips,
yeah, it's interesting.
yeah.
That's my
I know
weakness.
one other guy who also doesn't like tray flips at all, now that I think of it.
I wish I could land them like Scott B. I think Scott B's tray flip is beautiful for some reason.
Yeah, there's a German guy who has, in my opinion, the cleanest switch trays. Like, yeah, he
Ooh.
because I don't really like how my switch trays look because I scoop them and
Hmm.
don't really flick them,
Oh,
and his are like very horizontal and yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah. His name is Von, like VONRDN on Instagram. If anyone follows, but he doesn't have too much too much fingerboard content on there, I think. But yeah, he definitely has the nicest switch traits that I know of. Plastic or urethane wheels?
Urethane.
What's your favorite beverage?
Favorite beverage? Seltzer.
Oh. Do you have any sponsors?
No sponsors. My wallet, my fiance.
Yeah, was the same for me for a long time.
Yep, I see. But you're on, is it 5 Luck?
Yeah, I'm on 5 Luck for pretty much a year now.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Congrats.
Yeah, I think a year ago I released my welcome part. Yeah.
It's awesome.
Do you like 32 or 34 millimeter?
34, but I haven't tried 32 in a long time, and properly. I never had a 32 board.
Yeah, same. I haven't had a 32 in ages.
I had a set of 30.
Do you have?
Sure.
No, continue.
I had a set of 32 BRTs in white, and they were my first BRTs, but they were sitting on a 29 millimeter classic Berlin wood. Weird, I know.
Yeah, that's weird. Yeah, I have plenty of 32 millimeter BRTs, but I have them on like decks that are slightly bigger than 32, and with wheels, you can make it work.
Right. Wide is nice.
Hmm?
In my opinion, wide is nice.
Yeah. Do you have dream sponsors? Like, if you could choose a sponsor in fingerboarding, who would it be?
Oh wow. Yeah.
Would it? I think the main question here is: would it be Loft or Flint?
That's in the conversation. Yeah, definitely. If that ever happened, if I ever got good enough to get a sponsor, definitely it would have to be a product that I stand by. And
yeah, that was the same for me. Like I've been representing 5 Luck long before I joined the team,
right,
and I wouldn't join a team where I don't write the boards. Like there's so many cool companies like Unique. I like what Phil from Camel Pro is doing. There are cool German brands that have been popping up lately, like Grisner, who started making boards again. And I like and support all those companies, but yeah, if I would write for someone, it would have to be someone that I stand behind.
Sure. What I love is how good the products have gotten. The boards have gotten incredible. The trucks have gotten incredible. Everything has gotten better over time. And what's lovely is that you can support everybody and still have, your favorites. Everyone has their favorites.
Yeah. And with fingerboarding, even though that the prices can sometimes seem a bit high and stuff, but compared to other hobbies, it's still like really affordable. And there are people like Nico Frank who is famous for writing one setup exactly as it is for like 7 years.
It's incredible.
Like I think his old Preet was 7 years old. The trucks and the wheels the same, and so you can spend way more money on fingerboarding, but you can also, I think there's an argument being made that Nico Frank is one of the most well-known fingerboarders and definitely in the conversation for one of the cleanest styles.
Sure.
So yeah, if he can make it work with one setup for years without changing anything,
right?
Yeah,
and that's the beauty in it, is that he knows his board inside and out. This is a board that he rides consistently. He knows how it's going to feel every time he puts his fingers on it, and he's incredible. Yeah,
and like as soon as a board gets like half a year old for me, I'm like, maybe I
Right.
the pop is a bit gone, and it's like I'm not as particular about it as like let's say Julian Borno.
Okay.
Like he's like when you touch his stack and have like slightly longer fingernails and make a small indentation in the tape,
Oh yeah.
he's gonna be pissed.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
and
And he's wearing his tape down in a specific way that he likes his tape, and right.
yeah, yeah, and he has. I mean, I borrowed a few tricks from him when it comes to setting up a tape.
Sure.
Like I basically clean it over running water before I set it up. Then wipe it down, let it dry, then put it on my board. Because especially if you have engraved tape, there's a lot of like residue that's
Oh, that's
on the tape,
right. That's right.
and with water, like even if it's not engraved, it basically feels like it's worn in faster. Maybe it's just like a mental thing,
Sure.
but I'm quite sure that I wear in my FBS much faster than I would otherwise do.
Interesting.
And but on the same token, I go through tape quite a lot since I start basically when I start fingerboarding a tape, it's already more worn than it would be for anyone
I
else.
see. I see. Okay. Interesting. I
Uh,
yeah. I'm changing tapes a lot because I small details. If again, like those cuts that happen in the tape because of the fingernail, or
yeah,
you mess the tape up on the edge or something. I,
yeah, like when you hit a rail on like right on the edge on
yeah.
the front. Yeah. Do you have a favorite tape?
Yeah, definitely. FBS and BV always. If it isn't FBS or BV,
What do you mean with?
oh,
Do you mean
right,
Berlinwood
right.
or?
Black Velvet from Fingerboard.
Yeah, like yeah, yeah. I didn't make that connection
Sorry
because I
about that. I should have spoke.
no worries. I thought that you meant fingerboard connoisseur tape, but I will didn't remember how his tape was called.
Uh,
Because yeah, here like
I,
we have FBS in Germany, so there's no reason for me to pay shipping. Yeah,
I mean, it's
to get
so
a
hard
different
to
tape.
go wrong with FBS. That it's good stuff.
Yeah, yeah. I think I should hit up Kata soon to ask if I could buy one of the big stacks that she has, like the really big
Oh my
stacks
goodness.
of tape. Because like every time I'm at the like especially during the times now where I'm at the shop like once in a blue moon,
Right.
like I always pick up a set of like a 10 sheet FBS pack because yeah, I can never have enough. Like even if I have another pack that I haven't opened yet, it's like yeah, okay, I'm going to need that in like a
Right.
month.
Right. You just know.
Yeah, especially with how many different setups I have, and like if I try a new brand or a new shape,
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh yeah. I've been there. That sounds like me too.
yeah. Um, do you have a favorite Instagram follow that you could recommend to people?
Sure. Favorite Instagram follow is going to be, I think it's Cam, the Steezy Boy, with a bunch of underscores. It's this. He's young. I don't know how old he is, but he's pretty good. He's has some technical tricks, has tricks that are pretty difficult, and if he keeps it up, he's gonna be pretty good.
Oh, yeah, I found him. Oh, he's already surpassed us both in followers on Instagram. Not that that really matters, but
He's no joke.
yeah, it's it's always really surprising to me that I think I'm quite connected in the scene, and still I discover fingerboard accounts with like 1K plus, and I thought at this point I would be following all of them, but
Right.
turns out there's so many of us.
I love it.
Yeah,
Good thing. Those rare finds are nice because then you find. I saw a fingerboarder, and I can't. It's a fingerboarder from the Philippines, and his fingers, the way they sat on a board, just completely flat, looked like it was my hands. I sent the clip to my friend, and he thought it was me. He's like, "Is that you?" I'm like, "No." I can't remember who it was for the life of me. But again, there's so many fingerboarders out there and so many different styles, and it's nice to see.
Yeah, that reminds me that I really need to reach out to the Indonesian and basically the those scenes that we don't hear a lot about.
Sure. That Southeast Asia scene, the Asia scene in general, has quite a few people that
Yeah.
would be interesting.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that brings us to a close.
Wonderful.
Thank you so much for your time, and thanks everyone for listening. And yeah, you will catch me in the next episode. So yeah, bye.